my perspective on the pandemic is necessarily through the lens of my Indian experience. Lockdown on most fronts leaves us with plenty of time on our hands. I avail of this time to do two things. I make myself pastorally available to people by offering sacramental support in their homes. And I observe how the pandemic is impacting people's lives against the backdrop of what is happening in the world at large. Ever since the implications of COVID-19 became clear, I chose the word paradox as the umbrella under which I tend to gather the offspring of the virus. Take religion, for instance. For millennia, it has been used in this land to separate people, but now it has to take an embarrassing back seat even as the virus drives the concerted efforts of our struggling world. The virus respects no religion, and we are all suddenly one in fighting it. If I were asked to sum up the effects of the pandemic in India in a single image, it would have to be that of the migrant worker crisis. When the lockdown was first imposed, the country was given a mere 4 hours to prepare. Thousands of labourers suddenly found themselves without work, without food, without resources, without government support, without a chance to return to their native villages, and now suddenly without hope. A new exodus of biblical proportions got underway, and these workers, many of them with families, began a long walk back to their native places. Evil forces added to the incredible suffering by pushing ill-concealed political agenda and by sowing the seeds of hatred along religious and caste lines. History may be kind to our government on many fronts, but I sense that it will be very unforgiving of the manner in which our government mistreated the migrant workers. The word paradox again. While employers and government and most layers of officialdom sinned with respect to the migrants, the crisis touched the hearts of thousands of ordinary people along the way. These heroes of sympathy did all in their power to help with food and shelter and medical supplies as confused migrants trudged desperately towards a latter-day promised land. I found myself vibing with thousands across India who were brought to tears and silence by the acts of heroism on all sides. One thinks of the Sikh community providing millions of meals for the needy. One thinks of the manner in which one Christian brother, Steve Rocha, galvanized a caring force of many and mobilized resources to help the migrants. If the Exodus and Passover in the case of the Jews, or the Great Famine in the case of the Irish, were etched indelibly on the minds and hearts of the people, I sense that a similar phenomenon will colour the history of India in centuries to come. There are stories out there that need to be told. A determination needs to be generated and climax in a single cry, never again. I see it even now. Generations still unborn reading history of these times as a story of heroism and resilience of the poor, the uncaring callousness of the rich and powerful, and the determination of the people generally not to let the virus have the last word. The pandemic convinces me that the overriding message of the Bible is suddenly and hauntingly true. If we do not find God in people, we will not find God at all. Allied to people as the temple of the divine is the mystery of Mother Nature, exploited, denuded, decimated for centuries. She suddenly and quietly came into her own during the lockdown. Paradoxically, it took the pandemic to rein in people's greed and lack of sensitivity. Birds returned to our forests, rivers ran clean again, air became fresh and pure once more, and distant mountains perennially lost in smog suddenly became visible again in all their shining glory. Wild animals roamed our streets and highways even as people were locked inside their homes. Across history, plagues and pandemics have come and gone. This one will go too. And I pray that the world will be the wiser and humbler because of its visit. May we once again find a place for God, who still comes and knocks on the doors of our hearts and homes. May God of mystery, God of wonder, God of well-being, bless each and all of you today and in the years to come. God bless.